Hello everyone. Thank you very much for all your wonderful support yesterday of the first cookery lesson. Today's cookery lesson is Keftedes, which are Greek Cypriot meatballs. And a thank you to Andreas and Kathy in Cyprus for the recipe years ago. Wonderful people. They have a wonderful restaurant there, and Kathy told me about the potatoes in this one. So it's you might be wondering why I'm doing this. Well, really, I can cook. I fed my family for forever, and I just wanted people to be able to make something good and wholesome for their families during the lockdown, and if you have to go into self-isolation. The meals are easy. It's not rocket science. They're family friendly, but you can put in and take out whatever you don't like. You can bulk cook and put some in the freezer, so you get economies of scale. And they're dinner or lunch menus, depending on when you eat your main meal. It's one course only, but later on I will do soups and desserts. If you want something specific, ask me. I'm happy to do vegetarian, gluten-free, whatever you need. So here we go for this recipe. Here's the recipe for today. It's Keftedes, which are Greek Cypriot meatballs. Children love them, adults love them, most people like them. So you need 500 grams of minced beef, 500 grams of minced pork or turkey, mint which can be dried or fresh, potato, onion, 1 egg, 3 slices of stale bread, or dried breadcrumbs that you can buy, not the coloured ones though, just white ones, salt, pepper and olive oil. They will take 5 to 6 minutes of frying, that's turning them over once, or 20 minutes baking at 180 centigrade, 350 Fahrenheit. I've never baked them, but I might try to bake half just to see how they turn out today. Before you start cooking, generally you would wash your hands. I tend to wash my kitchen down with a bleach-based product because I love a bleaching. And really just make sure that all your surfaces are clean, all your utensils are clean and everything. You will wash your hands a lot because the majority of the cooking does involve hands on and hands in. If you can get a small child to put their hands in, that's really good. Boys are really good for putting their hands in gooey stuff. So please use them. It's really great. And you can all be involved in the cooking. Here are the ingredients, guys. So we've got 500 grams of minced pork, 500 grams of minced beef, an egg, 3 slices of stale bread, which isn't stale yet, but it will be, salt and pepper, dried mint if you haven't got fresh mint, and I've got some cinnamon. It's called cannelle here, but cinnamon, because in Cyprus, where this recipe comes from, they use a bit of cinnamon in everything, which gives it just that little hint of Middle Easternness. It's really yummy, but you can leave it out if you don't want it. An onion, potato, some flour and some breadcrumbs, and olive oil. Right, I'm starting to prepare everything now. So I've put everything into a very big bowl because you're actually going to get your hands in there. So the pork's in there, the beef's in there, the breadcrumbs are in there. I think that's all. Salt and pepper in there as well. And also I've started preparing the vegetables. Right, so I've peeled and cut up the potatoes, peeled and cut up carrots, and I've taken the mint off the little stalks. I use this thing to make my vegetables smaller. You could use a grater, but watch your nails because you don't want those in there, or a food processor. And as a bit of an add-on today, what I'd like you to do is start saving your vegetable peelings. You can wash your potato first before peeling it, save your peelings, and in this little bag here I've got the peelings of the carrots. sorry, the onions. Usually I take the first layer off, but the second layer I keep. Those are going to go into your freezer, and every day, or for a couple of weeks or this week, we're going to put any vegetable peelings that we've got into that bag in the freezer, and we're going to make vegetable stock at the end with those. So I'm going to chop down my veggies now and then add those to the big bowl, and I'll come back to you. Here's my little miracle machine chopped up the potatoes, so I'll carry on chopping those and then I'll start on the onions. Okay, now the onions are in there and I'm going to chop those up. Here are the potatoes in there, so you can see that this quite softly and finely cut up, but it's fine on the grater, so don't worry about it. It's going to be fine in your food processor. So the reason for the potato, I thought about this as I was doing the potatoes. The reason for the breadcrumbs are to absorb the fat, and the reason for the potatoes is to keep the Keftedes moist. So if you're wondering why these specific things go into the recipes, I'll try and explain as I go along, but there is method in the madness, believe it or not. There are the onions now all cut up. This little box I bought several years ago. It's made by that famous company, American company, who sell boxes by Party Plan. I don't think I can use their name because I'm not sure of copyright and all that stuff. But for me, it was absolutely brilliant because I have a little bit of arthritis and got very weak wrists. So I bought it initially to make nems, and it's absolutely fabulous. It's little, it's compact, not a lot of washing up, as you can see, which I really like. It's also brilliant for herbs. I can never get them small enough by chopping, but you can chop them, it's no problem. So I am going to carry on doing that until it's really small. I'm also going to put a spoonful of the dried mint in, only because my mint's only just coming, so I think I'll add a bit of dried mint as well, okay? I don't know why, but for some strange reason, I keep calling the onions carrots. I think it's because every time I use my little funny machine, it's to make the nems, and it's usually to chop the carrots in. So sorry for that, but the carrots are actually onions. Okay, so all of the ingredients now are in the bowl. I put half a teaspoonful of the cinnamon in, or cannelle if you live in France, and I'm just about to get my hands dirty by getting in there. I like to give it a bit of a mix before I add the egg. So I'll come back to you in a sec. There it is, all mixed up now. So you can see the little flecks of mint in there and everything. I'm now going to add a whole egg. I hate this bit because I hate gooey egg, but you can either beat it or just leave it whole, and again get your hands in there. The egg is what's going to help bind it together when you're frying it, so it'll keep it all together, the mixture. So it is essential, unfortunately. There's the egg in there, so now I'm going to put my hands in there and get on with it. I use free range eggs, and please do the same wherever possible, because at least it keeps the chooks healthy and outdoors, and you're getting a better quality egg. Okay, there it is, all done now, and I'm going to leave it in the fridge for probably an hour for all of the flavours to imbibe, and for the dried mint actually to profit from any moisture that there is in the mixture. So it's into the fridge now for 30 minutes minimum, and an hour. You could even make it the day before and leave it in there overnight. Just waiting for the Keftedes to marinate in the fridge, and I thought I'd come back to the old bread flour. Okay, I've got a bag of bread flour, which is multi-cereal, so wholemeal, and in this jug I've got 200 millilitres of water and 200 grams of flour. This is going to be the sourdough starter. You can have a look at it. That's after 24 hours. It doesn't look as if anything's happened, but apparently you wait about 7 days and it does happen. So stage 2 of this process is I take half of that flour off and then I give it some more flour. So I'll just have a look at that, see what happens, and I'll come back to you. Okay. Right, here's the mixture now out of the fridge, and using either a dessert spoon, not a big tablespoon, just a dessert spoon, or an ice cream scoop. I'm just scooping bits out of the mixture, forming it in my hands, and then dipping it into that flour that you must be wondering where it went to from this morning's ingredients. Here are some I've made. The first 3 are from the dessert spoon and the rest are with the ice cream scoop. It's a bit difficult to video and make them, so what I'll do, I'll take photographs to put them on as I'm going along with the making of the Keftedes. I've just put 2 dessert spoons full of olive oil into a frying pan. It's on quite a high heat to start it off, and I'll be putting as many as I can get comfortably into the pan and with the ability to turn them over. So coat the whole of the pan with your olive oil. I prefer to use olive oil, it's healthier for you, but if you haven't got any, you could use ordinary cooking oil as well. So I'm now going to, it's quite hot, I think. Obviously don't put your hand in, it's a little bit longer actually. So I'm going to put the little Keftedes, there's 24 of the little things there. So I think I'll probably get about 8 in this lot. What I do is I put them from the, sort of around the edges like this. Then working on the first one as being 12 o'clock and the bottom 6 o'clock. Then I'll be turning them over in that sequence as well. So if you think about it, we've got 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in there. And the idea of coating them in the flour is to stop them sticking, and they'll give you a little bit of crust on them. So back on that one later. I'm going to turn my gas down now to about half of that heat. And I've turned them over so you can see they started to brown on that one side. I'll pop them on to cook on the other side. I've got these sort of tong things to turn them over, but you can actually turn them over with 2 forks, a fish slice, whatever, really, whatever's easiest for you guys. So there they are, merrily sizzling. They smell lovely. It smells minty, the cinnamon smelling, it smells really good. The second lot are in there bubbling away. I added another 2 dessert spoons full of olive oil to the pan because obviously they've absorbed it. If you turn it around a bit, that'll spread the oil around and stop them sticking. Here are the ones that are already done, looking all nice and gorgeous. And I'm just going to cut one in half for you to see what they're like on the inside. There you go. So that's there it is. They're cooked. You can see little bits of potato in there. You can see the mint in there. It's all looking really good. So I'm going to taste that in a second and let you know.
Go.
Okay, I've commandeered Mark into helping me.
Got to be Johnny.
Oh yes, and I'm Fanny apparently. He's Johnny, I'm Fanny. Okay, so what I'm going to show you now is that little bit I did before in photos. So
what I've done, I've made the little balls in the bowl using the ice cream scoop because it works best for me. So I'm rolling them in my hands into the shape of the little Keftedes. Then I just roll them in the flour. Have you got that, Johnny?
Yes, funny.
Okay. Then I just shape it again over the bowl. And then over here now, Johnny dear, onto the tray for frying in a minute. There's the last lot gone in there, and so I'll do that again for you. Johnny, over here now, dear. Johnny, come here now. Right, so I've got the little ball, roll it in my hands, flatten it a bit because they're sort of flattish things. Then into the flour, Johnny, into flour. Just literally roll it.
Come on, funny.
Pat it off there, pat it off. So, and there you go, there's the next one. Okay, so these 10 will be the last. Okay, Johnny, do off now. See you
Bye.
later. So there they all are now, 38 of them. I could have got 40 really if I'd gone a bit smaller. So they're sort of oval, flattish meatballs. You're probably wondering what the heck we're going to do with all of them. Well, we are going to eat them tonight with wild rice, because it's in the cupboard. I'm going to make a tomato sauce, so it's tomatoes, onion and garlic. I'm lucky enough to have to live in the country and to grow tomatoes, and I conserve them. So we bottled last year probably maybe 80 jars of tomatoes, so I can just go to the barn and get them. Also, I'm going to do a little tzatziki, which is yogurt. It doesn't have to be Greek yogurt, it can be white yogurt, it can be bifidus yogurt, it can be natural yogurt, it can be any old yogurt. Cucumber and garlic. So I'm and if you're wondering, God, those two are never going to eat all those. Well, I reckon Mark will eat 5. I'll probably have 3, and then the rest of them I'm going to. So that's 5 and 3 is 8. So there'll be 30 left. So I'm going to do 2 lots of 15 in tomato sauce and freeze them. So we'll have them for spaghetti bolognese. Or something else. So you could have them as a main dish with pasta, fried potatoes, Greek salad. So as I said, tonight for us it's wild rice, tomato sauce and tzatziki for me. There'll be some of that left over as well for tomorrow. Okay folks, I hope that was alright for you. If any worries or problems, just give us a buzz or message me. I now know how that's going. Uploading has been a bit of a challenge today, so Facebook is taking its time, but I'm trying on YouTube, which has got another 2 hours, so hopefully you'll get them by tomorrow. Bye for now, guys. Okay, to start the tomato sauce, you just chop up an onion. It's chopped up quite small. Chop up some garlic, and just as a point of interest, in the garlic, if you slice it in half, that little bit in the middle is like the seed of the garlic. So if you take that out, it reduces indigestion and the smell in your breath, apparently. That's the way the French do it here anyway, so I think I'm going to trust them. So I'm going to put a large dessert spoon of olive oil into a saucepan. Then I'm going to fry the onions and the garlic together until they're translucent, that's see-through, and then I'm going to add the tomatoes and with salt and pepper, and just boil it and boil it and boil it and boil it and boil it until it's nice and thick, and I'll come back to you on that one in a minute. There's the onion all just frying over there, and you can see it is actually now see-through, so translucent. I'm going to add the tomatoes now and just let it bubble away quite well. There it is now. There it is with the tomatoes in, and I've got a spoonful of salt and a quarter of a spoonful of pepper in there. And my salt spoon is actually a baby spoon, so I use that for salt and for pepper. So I dare say some of you have got those, but anything will do. And if you don't want to put salt, don't put it. It needs a little bit of pepper, but again, if you do want to put it in, don't put it in. It's totally up to you guys, okay? Okay, I'm going to make the tzatziki now. So I've cut this piece of cucumber in half. This is enough for me. It possibly goes to 2 people. I've cut it in half and I'm scraping the seeds out because they'll make it really watery. I like to leave the skin on, but you can peel the skin off as well. There's the clove of garlic in half, and there's that little, the seed or the germ. So that's going to go into our veggies. I'll take the cucumber out, we don't want that in there. Into the veggie peelings for the vegetable stock later on. So I'll come back on it in a sec. So there's the tzatziki, and that's literally half a cucumber, or sort of a third of a cucumber really, a garlic clove and some yoghurt, and I put some pepper in. I haven't put any salt in because it'll make it watery, because it'll make the cucumber let off water. So that with the Keftedes dipped in, yum yum yum. There's the tomato sauce. As you can see, it's boiled right down now, so it's really nice and juicy. I think it's just intense, so I've got steam now from the rice. Okay, and there's the boiled wild rice. This, I find, takes longer than it says on the packet. The only way of knowing if it's cooked or not is by tasting it. And I usually taste the little black bits, these bits, because the skin on it takes a lot longer to cook. So taste that rather than anything else, because the white can be cooked before the rest. It's usually cooked when the water's absorbed, but this isn't going to be long now, and Mark is absolutely starving, so I'm going to get a shift on. Okay, so we're all ready to go now. There's Mark, so he's got the wild rice, the Keftedes and the tomato sauce, and I'm having the Keftedes cold with the tzatziki and a little salad. I'm going to put some tzatziki on that as well. So that one's mine and that one's Marky's. So bon appetit and enjoy.